All right. Hello, everyone. It's Madeline from Natural Hormone Healing, and I'm here with Carolina, who's going to share how she went from having periods that caused her to have to leave work to fully loving and embracing her cycle. And I want to talk to you just exactly how she did it, and she has such wisdom to share on this subject. So, welcome, Carolina, and thanks for coming to share.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So you went through the complete period relief solution. And I'm curious, before you started the program, can you tell me a bit about what your periods were like and your story with that?
Yes, for sure. So I was on birth control for multiple years and always suffered from period pain, even on birth control. But it was never to the extent that it was when I came off of it. This is like a full year ago now in September. And I kind of came off the pill cold turkey, not sure what my body would do. And it was from day one of that first cycle, I had like immense amounts of pain. So it was as if that the birth control was kind of suppressing some of the pain. And then I just had no idea how to manage what was coming up. And I was full-time teaching. I'm a full-time grade one teacher. And so I have a very high energy job, and having such intense pain, and it was a lot of physical pain, right? Like the full cramping in the front, the back, and then it also came with symptoms like bloating. It came with like indigestion, fatigue. It was really heavy, and I just had no idea how to manage it at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really intense. Like, what was that moment for you when you decided, like, I need to find a way to do this, to
I think
get control of this?
it was about my third cycle in that I knew I had to find another way because no longer was Advil or Tylenol or a combination working. I started to go to multiple different doctors, like Western medical doctors, who were telling me that I could only to go back on birth control in order for them to adjust my dosages to control this pain. And I just told them that wasn't an option anymore. And I was given zero alternative, like absolutely zero. And I had seen 3 female medical doctors, and they all told me the same thing. So I was really disappointed with that. And so I started to seek elsewhere, and I heard of Madeline's work, and I was trying to do my own research. But of course, you only have a certain amount of time to do the research and then to figure out actually what does apply to you, like what teas are appropriate or what's the exercise that is needed at the time. And I have to say, I'm a pretty intuitive person in terms of what my body's telling me. I just didn't know how to address it. Like my body was telling me something was out of alignment, and I just couldn't do anything about it because I didn't have the toolkit at the time. So I really remember though, like my 4th cycle in, I was at this point, I had been always missing about 2 days of work like for my period pain. My very first cycle that I had that was super painful, my vice principal had to come into my class because I was completely unfit to teach, which was mortifying at the time. I remember being in so much pain, like I had just these heat wave explosions. I was trying to teach my students, and it hit so fast. And she physically had to come in, and I had to go home. And I remember the drive home just like stopping multiple times from nausea and just thinking like my body was out of control. And I knew I wasn't pregnant or anything because I was clearly on my period. And that was the
Mhm.
frustrating part, that my body was doing its job. I was still cycling every 28 days or so. And so about by the 4th round of this, so 4 months in, is when I remember going, I had already signed up for Madeline's programming. I knew of her day retreat. Like I had been on her day retreat already and like learned so much, but I knew I needed like that extra hand holding for sure to go forward. And so I was sitting at the toilet at work. This is embarrassing. And I remember being in so much pain again. It was close to the end of the day at work. And I remember thinking like, I need to just make it through 1 more hour of work. Like I'd feel so bad again if my administration has to step in. And I was emailing Madeline at the toilet last recess or whatever, being like, Madeline, I need you. I need your program. I need something because I'm so desperate at this point. Like I was in so much pain. I didn't want to go home anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I did not hear that story that you were messaging me from the toilet.
I
But
was.
yeah, like that's really intense to have to go through that. And then especially with the nature of your job where you can't just work from home, even though now you can, but you can't just
Mhm.
work from home, when you're a teacher and having to teach at home. So yeah, so that's really intense. And so then you signed up for the program, and what were those like, yeah, what were those nuggets for you that you learned that you found really valuable? And tell me a little bit about where you are now, because it's been a few months since you finish the program as well. Tell me more about that.
So I remember signing up for the program and having just suddenly like a massive toolkit. And it was like, oh my God, these are the solutions. So now it was just putting together like my symptoms and matching it. And Madeline did that so like seamlessly with like the Facebook groups and the one-on-one coaching, like being able to bridge the gap, which is where the professional comes in. And that was homework that I just didn't have time to do on my own. Right. So I remember suddenly like having prep meal plans, and I was able to follow them, and my fiance enjoyed the recipes, and they were easy to cook, and they could be prepped or they could kind of be on the fly. We changed, not even super drastically, but we did change some things of what to look for when we went grocery shopping. And those were small changes of mostly fresh produce that are available to us anyways. It was just a matter of like having my eyes open that these were concepts. And, you know, before I was going gluten-free, dairy-free at the time. And so I did have an idea of kind of what a diet change would be, but I found that really abrasive. And it was a lot of like, okay, you have to replace like to gluten-free pastas and gluten-free everything. But I found with this program, it was like, no, I didn't need that anymore. Actually, there was like another way of eating. So the eating lifestyle part changed a lot for me because A, I had something to go off of. And so it took the thinking out of it. And B, they were really great meals. And C, I actually started to really like the kitchen. And the kitchen has been a place that I honestly have avoided, like my fiance can attest. And now I have like my own toolkit of recipes. And it's not just like I have recipes to prepare and everything. It's like recipes that I know when to use according to where I am on my cycle.
Yeah.
And that to me has been super empowering because no longer am I just eating to fill myself. I'm now eating to literally nourish where my hormones are at. And that has given me this entire other sense of power of how I'm giving myself care.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Just the difference that it can make when you change your mindset around eating, and being able to actually enjoy cooking is so important for the long-term success. So tell me more about what your periods, how things changed for you. What were your results with your periods?
So my results have been really interesting because it's not necessarily like physical results. Like for sure I've got less bloating. So like I don't feel as heavy, but again, I'm already saying it, like it's a lot about the feeling of this, like how do I feel? And so when my period does come, first of all, like again, it's predictable. I feel like I know when it's going to happen. I can move into an area of like knowing and preparing my body for it, preparing my lifestyle for it. I now have the toolkit. I know the recipes. I know how much sleep I do need in order to have a successful period. And a successful period in my mind is to have a pain-free period because that's what I didn't have prior. And so that's what my periods are. They are like a tenth of the bloating I had, if any. My periods are completely, they're healthier. You know, the blood is redder and I feel like it's just a natural process instead of kind of like as if my body's backlogging and then like having this explosive painful cramps. If I do get cramps because I had, you know, a cup of coffee that day, at least I know, oh, right, I had a cup of coffee today, inflamed my uterus. This is the why behind my pain. And then I can course correct, right? And so when I came out of the program, I felt like I had this huge like boost of information and I was able to like power through. And then now every month I make a commitment to myself of like, all right, another successful period. Here we go. This is my protocol. This is what I need to implement. And now it comes from within me instead of just like frolicking online and trying to piece together other people's experiences, right? I have something that's tailored to me.
Yeah, that's really important that's been tailored to you as well. And with your periods and with your cycle now, I know you've really like kind of taken this like deeper in aligning like even your lifestyle with your cycle. And I'd love to share like some of the things you observed and some of the practices that you have now.
So I definitely felt like I took it like a whole step beyond the program. And I was just so encouraged to do so because once I learned about my period cycle, and, you know, I had a general idea prior, but then I really started to dive into, okay, wait, if that's just, you know, 7 days, let's say, of my month, like what about the rest? And Madeline did a really good job of touching on all of those phases of the cycle. And so I started to take even more interest in, well, then how do I honor the rest of my phases? So then I got to learn, really, again, using the protocol, well, then what do I do during my follicular, my ovulatory, and my luteal phase? And really using that luteal phase as like this boosting point to make sure that I've got that successful period coming, right? So that looks like making sure I've got all my supplements up to date, and that, you know, I've doubled my magnesium when I need to, that I stopped drinking coffee 3 days prior to my period, and just having that protocol and that template in my mind and in my journal, and being able to follow that. And then it also came to a different level, being a teacher. Like, I'm a grade 1 teacher, but I also do a lot of meditation and yoga, and I do teach both of those things as well. So it was beautiful to see like this crossover of aligning my cycle to my lifestyle, and being able to really honor where my mental state was because of where my hormones were. So just having that sense of, all right, I know, again, what is the why behind my emotions? What is the why behind my cravings? What is the why behind the pain, if there is, right? So that was just like this complete open book that I was able to dive in. And I would say every month since the program, I dive in a little deeper, because I started to self-study. And that was, now knowing so much more about myself and how I maintain my energy throughout all 4 phases, I've been able to address my lifestyle around that and put up boundaries when I need to, and give myself permission to have more space or less space. And I have so many examples, but it's just been completely like another way of living.
Yeah. I know, and I see you as a very like you're a high achiever in a sense that you have like a full-time job, but you also have your business and your teaching, and you know, you go to the gym, you work out, you do yoga, like you do a lot, and being able to follow that roadmap of aligning your life with your cycle is, I'm sure, so helpful, right?
Yes, it's been very, very helpful, especially with that boundary setting. And I've been able to notice how it affects me on a professional level, as well as on a partnership level, with just having the vocabulary to communicate with my fiance with what are my needs, and these are the reasons, right? And then that just empowering myself again with this concept of like, okay, this is how I'm taking care of myself, and now I know how to advocate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's like so amazing. Yeah, was there anything else that you would like to share, you know, based on, yeah, any other words of wisdom you'd like to share, like with the women in our community, you know, especially those that are in the midst of really still struggling with a lot of pain every single month?
I think it's important to know that there are solutions, and to not give up. Like, if you feel like you have been advised poorly, then believe yourself with that. Like, it took me, like I said, 3 doctors before I even took myself serious. And I even remember a very close friend's phone call where I was explaining how much pain I was, and I was annoyed with my periods. And this was before doing the protocol, of course. And she had said, well, are they really that bad? Like, you know, maybe they'll get better. Like, you've only been off your birth control for 4 months. And I remember just that igniting a fire in me, going like, no, it's bad. Like, I'm not just saying this. And maybe for her pain level would be different, but the point was like, I'm the only one experiencing this, and I'm the only one that can change it and advocate and self-invest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's really important to listen to ourselves.
Yeah.
And then know there are places to go.
Yeah, that's so empowering, because I know so many women feel just totally blocked and totally like they feel like they've been pushed into a corner a lot of the time from different medical advice, just they're, you know, and always trying to seek an answer from a doctor, you know, but then it's so important to, you know, trust your gut and trust your instinct that this isn't normal, and you can do things, you can take action, and you can learn tools.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And to listen to yourself, and not have to wait till someone says, oh, you should probably like look into it. It's like, no, like, if you know, and just trust that.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing with this community. I really, appreciate that. And for those of you that are listening and you want to learn more about the Complete Period Relief Solution, what you can do is just send me a direct message, or go to naturalhormonehealing.com and contact me through there. And I would be happy to explore, you know, and see if you'd be a good fit for this program, because you can attend it from anywhere in the world. We have women from across at least 3 continents who attend this program. So would love to have you guys. And yeah, thanks again, Carolina.
You bet. Thanks, Madeline.